Hello everyone! My name is Noor and I'm one of the organizers of the Ottawa Italian Week Festival. We are so happy you can join us today for the reading of Strega Nona, the first book in that series. Come back on Tuesday for the reading of the second book, Strega Nona's Magic Ring. If you have any questions, click on the chat or Q&A at the bottom of the screen, type it, and we will answer it at the end of the reading. Today's reader is Cinzia Nuzzi of the Dante Alighieri Society in Ottawa. With permission from the Simon & Schuster Publishing, here is Cinzia.
Hello, eccomi. Salve a tutti, grandi e piccoli, e benvenuti a questo appuntamento con Strega Nonna. Welcome to everybody to meet this funny grandmother that called Strega Nonna, the character illustrated and created by Tomie dePaola. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called Strega Nona, which meant Grandma Witch. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went, because Strega Nona did have a magic touch. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands. And she was very good at getting rid of warts. But Strega Nona was getting old, and she needed someone to help her keep her little house and garden. So she put up a sign in the town square. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay attention, went to see her. "Anthony," said Strega Nona, "you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this, I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat." "Oh, grazie," said Big Anthony. "The one thing you must never do," said Strega Nona, "is touch the pasta pot. It is very valuable, and I don't let anyone touch it." "Oh, see, yes," said Big Anthony. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Strega Nona met with the people who came to see her for headaches and husband and warts. Big Anthony had a nice bed to sleep in, next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Strega Nona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Strega Nona standing over the pasta pot. She sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry, it's time to sup, boil enough pasta to fill me up." And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming hot pasta. Then Strega Nona sang, "Enough, enough, pasta pot, I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day." "How wonderful," said Big Anthony. "That's a magic pot for sure." And Strega Nona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't get to see Strega Nona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. And this is what happened. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everyone about the pasta pot. And naturally, everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself. "You better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony," they said. Such a lie! And Big Anthony was angry. And that wasn't a very good thing to be. I'll show them, he said to himself. Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, Strega Nona said to Big Anthony, Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend Strega Amelia, sweep the house and weed the garden, feed the goat and milk her. And for your lunch, there are some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot. Oh, yes, yes, Strega Nona, said Big Anthony, but inside he was thinking, my chance has come. As soon as Strega Nona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside, pulled the pasta pot off the shelf, and put it on the floor. Now, let's see if I can remember the words, said Big Anthony, and Big Anthony sang. Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry, it's time to sup, boil enough to fill me up. And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. Ha ha, said Big Anthony, and he ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain and shouted, everyone, get forks and plate and platters and bowls. Pasta for all at Strega Nona's house. Big Anthony has made the magic pasta pot to work. Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Strega Nona, the pasta pot was so full it was beginning to overflow. Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out the pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. There was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priest and the sisters from the convent. And some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings, but the pot was never empty. When all had their fill, Big Anthony sang, enough, enough, my pasta pot, have my pasta nice and hot, so simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day. But alas, he did not blow the 3 kisses. He went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling until a sister from the convent said, oh, Big Anthony, look! And pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Strega Nona house and was coming out of the door. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but the pasta kept pouring from it. Big Anthony grabbed the cover and put it on the pot and sat on it, but the pasta raised the cover at Big Anthony as well and spilled on the floor of Strega Nona's house. Stop! Yelled Big Anthony, but the pasta did not stop. And if someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta, and the pot kept right on bubbling. The townspeople began to worry. Do something, Big Anthony, they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, it did not good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. We must protect our town from the pasta, shouted the mayor. Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade. But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling, and the pasta kept coming. "We are lost," said the people, and the priest and the sisters of the convent began to pray. "The pasta will cover our town," they cried. And it certainly would have had Strega Nona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to know what had happened. She sang the magic song and blew the 3 kisses, and with a sputter, the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. "Oh, grazie, thank you, Strega Nonna," the people cried. But then they turned on poor Big Anthony. "String him up," the man of the town shouted. "Oh, now wait," said Strega Nonna. "The punishment must fit the crime." And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. "All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pasta pot," Strega Nonna said. "And I want to sleep in my little bed tonight. So start eating." And he did. Poor Big Anthony. The end. So now if you have questions about the story, about Strega Nona or the big pot, I'm not sure I have all the answers, but I'm here if you have some question, and I'll try to answer.
All right, Cynthia, thank you very much for this. We have a question. How does the pasta overflow?
Because the magic pot, it produces pasta and it goes out of the pot and flows. It just grow and grow and grow, and there is always magic pasta being produced inside the big pot.
Because of Strega Nonna singing, probably it helped, right?
I'm sure it did. It was a magic pot after all, so for sure it did add some power that we don't know. And
Yeah.
the nonna in Italy, I'm pretty sure also in Canada, but the nonna in Italy, you never get out hungry when you go and visit your nonna. There is always something to eat. There is always even too much to eat. So that's maybe part of the magic pot.
Yes, I agree, definitely. Everyone must go to Nonna's house. Another question came in. How can Big Anthony eat all the pasta at the end?
That is a big question. I thought the same. He must have been a good fork, as they say in English.
Maybe some of Strega Nonna's magic as well helped his stomach accept all the pasta.
I'm sure she must have been helping him.
Dylan says Big Anthony must be really big. Yeah, he must be.
It is. Big and doesn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Those are the two important traits. Yes, thank you for joining us. And we have 2 other books that about the adventure of Strega Nona and Big Anthony. So come back on Tuesday, June 16, 7 p.m. And there will be the Strega Nona and the Magic Ring. And that is another interesting thing that Big Anthony get in. So it's good to have Strega Nona, that always takes him away from the trouble that he gets in. So they're funny. So I'm going to read what is on the screen. The books are available for sale in Canada, Indico chapters, and today's recording will be uploaded in the Ottawa Italian Week YouTube channel. And if you are interested in other events, visit the italianweekottawa.ca.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much. I don't see any more questions coming in. Anyone else have any questions for Cynthia? You can raise your hands. Nope. All right. I think that's all.
This Strega Nona is quite a funny character. There were a lot of people when I was little. I remember it wasn't my nonnas, but there were women, wise women in the villages that would do these magics to take off headaches and belly aches and so on. So it was it's a funny character.
You say what you want to say.
I love the story.
Is this Theo?
Yes.
Hi, Theo. I'm so happy you joined us. Is Phoebe with you too?
Yes.
Yay.
Hi, Phoebe.
Hi. I'm happy you joined us. Come back on Tuesday to hear the second book and more adventures of Strega Nona.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
love the book.
See you.
Prego.
Bye.
I
Prego,
love
prego.
the book. The book was good. Can I push the button?
Not yet. Hold on.
Devi spingere il bottone.
What does that
Yeah, you say that you loved the book, didn't you?
What does that say?
It says Italian Week, Ottawa.
Anyone else wants to say hello?
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Who are we talking with? Come ti chiami?
You've got shy little one.
Antonio.
Yeah.
Antonio.
Oh, ciao, Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of like Big Anthony there, aren't you?
Yeah, he is. Thank you for the story.
Oh, you're most
It was
welcome. We're happy you joined.
Yeah, he's listened to it with his cousin. Evan.
Perfect. Hopefully we'll see you again on Tuesday. Tell your friends to join too.
Okay, yeah, we're signed up. Antonio, we're signed up for next.
Perfetto, grazie mille.
Grazie. I say ciao. No, Antonio.
Anyone else have any questions for Cynthia before she leaves us?
Theo, you had a question? What was your question?
I love the book.
You have the book?
No,
You have the book?
Oh,
You
you
love the book.
Oh, yeah.
I always
It's a very nice book.
Say thank you.
There is a whole village.
You like
Strega Nona. There
you
is
like spaghetti?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I always.
Cute.
for who is there? Maybe I can show the village.
Oh, do you want to see the village, Theo? Yeah,
Yes.
look at.
Here, this is the village.
Oh, wow. Look at.
And Strega Nona lives. She lives there.
Oh, do you see
That
where?
is where Strega Nona and Big Anthony lives. And here, down here, is the square, the village square, where everything happens.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, guys. See you Tuesday.
Buonanotte.
Theo, say buonanotte.
Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Ciao.
Ciao.
Say ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you to Simon & Schuster Publishing for allowing us to present tonight's reading. We will see you Tuesday. Thank you, Cinzia, for sure, for this lovely reading tonight. We can't wait to hear more.
Thank you to the Italian Week to allow us to do this.
Yes,
We
for
hope
sure.
with this liked by the children, and maybe we can continue to read other stories.
Yes, for sure, and we will on Tuesday for the second book in this series. So everyone, from our house to yours, have a good night. See you Tuesday.